Evelyn to Philip, V-mail dated June 5th, 1944. My dearest Phil, today, sweet, is exactly 18 days since I received your last letter. The longest break we ever had was from August 5th to 27th when you left for England. I hope this doesn't equal it, though somehow I feel that it may even be longer. God pray that I be wrong. Today I went to the bank to cash my allotment check and the check from S&D. I made a deposit of $25. I worked from 12 to 6 and learned a lot more about bills, etc. The girl came in to clean. She is really Mrs. Cooperstein's girl, and she is an excellent worker. So much so that we decided to chip in and have her every 2 weeks. Phil, you ought to see her work. She lifts up a mattress or a spring by herself as if it were a feather. She's a big husky gal of 22, and she seems to enjoy working so hard. The weather continues cool, and it is delightful. I wore my suit to work. Imagine! Here it is June 5th, and I'm wearing a heavy wool suit, and I'm covering myself with a quilt at night. Adele was a perfect little girl yesterday and today. She slept for 3 hours in the afternoon and from 7:30 p.m. last night till 8 this morning. She disturbed me twice throughout the night and awoke at 6:30. I put her in bed with me, and we slept together till 8. That is, Adele did. I couldn't fall back to sleep, got up, dressed for work, and half cleaned the room before Adele came to. I'm looking forward to better sleeping nights, especially when the weather gets cooler in the fall. When Adele fell asleep, Mr. First called me in to type 3 short letters for him, for which he paid me $1. He won't need me often, so I oblige him when it is something very important. My services seem to be in great demand, don't they, sweet? I had 2 letters today, one from Sid, the other from Faye. I haven't any idea of when I'll be able to reply. I just about have time to get my daily stint off to you, baby. Mr. Bellet says I can have anything wholesale, and will recommend me to any place where he has connections. I think I shall be able to get everything Harry and Goldie need wholesale, and that will be quite a saving. For instance, our crib for Adele cost $35. I believe I could get the same item for about $29. The profit is enormous. On the way home this evening, Mr. Bellet chanced to mention fountain pens, and since I've been wanting to buy one for some time, I asked whether he had any available. He said he would fix me up shortly. I'm going to work Saturdays during the month of June only, and then only 5 days a week. They don't work on Saturdays during the months of July and August anyhow. Tante Bosch got herself a place down the shore and assured us that we were most welcome. I'd like nothing better than to see Adele playing on the beach or take her into the water a little ways. I hope we get the opportunity to go sometime. By the way, you ought to see your daughter jump rope. I see I've reached the end of my letter, so before I run out of space, I want to hug and kiss you and tell you how much I love you, baby. I'm so hungry for you. Your Ev. Philip to Evelyn, 5 June 1944. My own darling, today was my day off, so to begin with, I allowed myself the luxury of lying abed until 11 o'clock. At that time, I bestirred myself to the extent of getting dressed, washing up, and walking to the mess hall for lunch. After lunch, I got interested in a book of short mystery stories and whiled away the afternoon reading. I was interrupted only once, when Sergeant Murphy came in to convey the CO's commendation on the company history which I submitted a few days ago. Everyone who read it seemed to think it was pretty good, for which naturally I was highly gratified. I was afraid until then that it might not be up to the required standards, since I only had a few days' notice to gather the necessary data. Altogether, it took me 3 days to complete. On the first day, I got my information from the various section heads. On the second, I made the rough draft. And on the third, I typed it and sent it into headquarters. So you see, Chippy, it was all pretty impromptu, and I'm very much surprised at the result. This month, because I'll have plenty of time to compile my data, I expect to turn in an even better one. At 4 o'clock, I went over to the orderly room to see if I had received any mail. Sure enough, there was your email of 26 May. You are uneasy because you hadn't heard from me for 8 days. I wish it were within my means to reassure you, baby, and thus spare you your discomfiture. But unfortunately, it isn't. I understand our mail was held up for reasons of security. Hope it doesn't happen again, sweet. Again, you mention your impatience to receive my letter of the 14th May, Mother's Day, and I feel an even greater heel when I picture your disappointment with its contents. If I could only write it over again. Though the rest of your letter is most interesting, containing many items of news about the family in general, there isn't anything else that calls for comment. The picture at the theater is Flight for Freedom, one I saw a long time ago, so I think I'll indulge in a few rounds of poker to kill the evening. Things are going on around here that make us think that something is due to pop, but of course I'm not permitted to say what they are. By the time this reaches you, you will probably know as much about it as I. See you tomorrow, baby, but right now, here's a big kiss and hug for you, and the same for the pumpkin. My love to all. Yours lovingly, Phil.